My name is Luke Owens, and I am the founder of the Hub Gym here in Broken Arrow. My wife and I had a vision for the Hub Gym to be the center of health and fitness in the Broken Arrow area, just to be a place where a multitude of people could come and feel comfortable getting healthy, achieving their goals. The vision sort of changed a bit. I think that our vision now would be to expand this community into other communities. Sort of the idea of franchising the Hub just to be kind of a worldwide presence. Our clients find acceptance, find something that they don't find in other fitness centers, you know, where they're able to, you know, get clear with their goals, fitness goals, life goals as a whole, and we just help facilitate that space where they can realize them. Michelle, she is a testimony, I guess, that we can share. When she came in, it was sort of the dead of summer, and she was in a full sweatsuit. Totally uncomfortable, but uncomfortable to not be completely covered, and scared to kind of start her journey. But through our team, through the support we offer here, she has lost well over 160 pounds. Comes in tank tops now and just completely comfortable within her body. I remember a day she came in and she was sort of emotional, and I'm like, "What's going on, Michelle?" And she said, "My son hugged me today." And I'm like, "I mean, your sons are pretty old. Have they never hugged you before?" And she said, "No." He said, "That's the first time I've ever put my arms all the way around you." I'm like, holy crap, you know. And so that really inspired me, and that's the why. That's why we are and who we are and do what we do, is for stories like that. I'm passionate about people, and fitness just happens to be the vein that I run in, that I'm comfortable in sort of expressing that love and passion for people. And so that just lends itself to putting me in the face of people. When I was asked about 12 years ago, if you didn't have to do what you're doing today, what would you be doing? And the only answer I could give was affect people. I wanted to impact people's lives, and that's gotten more clear as I've gone along. I just want to be an inspiration, you know, and I want people to realize that they themselves can be an inspiration.
From on the path to literal suicide to on the path to thrive, today we share the Luke Owens success story.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom.
Yes, and yes. Dr. Z, we have a 5-minute show
Is that
I think
possible?
It's going to blow the minds of the listeners.
Is that even possible?
It is possible.
Well, let's find
And
out.
I'm going to take the show down and then take the show back up. So we have Luke Owens on the show, who is the founder of the Hub Gym.
Hub.
And I went to graphic design college with this guy at Oklahoma State University.
Hub it up.
And you and I reconnected at a conference, I want to say 3.5 years ago.
Almost.
Reconnected and it feels
And you're a lighthearted guy. I'm lighthearted. But I'd like for you to share, what were you on the verge of doing before you came to the workshop?
Well, the morning that I learned about your conference, I walked into a local coffee shop and I sat down to write my suicide letter to my wife and family.
Okay. Wow.
There was a gentleman in the coffee shop that I knew, and he had just been to your last conference. And he said, "Hey, man, I think there's something that might help." And he knew me in the business, and that might help your business. And I just increasingly got more and more pissed as this guy's talking to me, because that's not what I was there for.
Sure.
But he spun the computer around, and I saw your face, and I thought, I know that guy, and I've done some work with him, and I'm not sure why that changed my mind or sort of put that on pause, but it did, and I'm grateful it did.
Wow.
And the thing about
That's
it
intense.
is, I spoke at a conference years ago where somebody else called me years after and said, he was actually a banker guy, and he said, I was on the verge of suicide, and I saw you speak at the Community Bankers Association event in Vegas, and I literally was at the end.
Yeah.
Because my bank was on that stress test, wasn't doing well, and I had no idea how to market that thing.
Yeah.
And the stuff I applied, it fixed it, But then the philosophy about the F6 life stuff you teach, at
Changed
the time
my
it was F5. We didn't teach fun. This would be 2011 or 12 I was teaching this. And he said, it saved my life. And I want you to know that. And I go, and you know, I mean, you're saying that, but do you really mean that? And he said, no, I seriously was on the verge because I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't know about the group interview, so I couldn't find people.
Right.
I didn't know about how websites work, so I couldn't get customers. I didn't know why reviews were important. I didn't know.
Well, try being a graphic designer who went through school to teach you how to properly promote a business, and it's still not working. You know, I was in business at that time for 10 years, and I don't know if you and Dr. Z remember that conference when I sort of like grabbed you both and spun you around and said, I have to do this with you guys. I don't advise people grabbing either Clay or Z, but I did that. That's where I was.
A good spinning, though, is not a bad thing. I mean, it's just a general rule of thumb. But
I would like to do, because I wanted Z to hear that too, because that's why we do this.
Wow, that's intense.
I've met your wife, great lady. Met your father-in-law, great person. Hey, please explain what you have implemented. And I know you've got to go to do your rest of your life, but I have 5 areas I want to hit on in 3 minutes. We'll see if we can do it. The group interview.
Yes.
Getting to the top of Google.
Yes.
Firing idiots. Let's go there. Group interview. How's that helped your life?
Well, I haven't sold a membership, and I don't remember when. I am no longer working as much in the day-to-day of the business. Instead, now I'm working on the business, and we're seeing growth. So we're 100 members away from our goal number that we've set together. And I also have time freedom, which was the first thing. You know, you guys asked the question, what is your financial goal? I didn't have one at the time. I just wanted to be happy and be alive and have time freedom to be with my family, and I've achieved all of those things.
You were a graphic designer. You went to school for graphic design, so you know how to design things.
Yes.
But they were unfindable because you were not anywhere near the top of Google. And
Correct.
now you are. So talk to me about adding content to your website, crappy content or good content, and getting reviews, because you're now beating billion-dollar fitness companies in the search engine results when people type in Broken Arrow gyms. How has adding crappy, consistent content to your website and getting reviews changed your life?
Well, it's funny. This morning I was looking for an old ad, and I came through this folder that was just every week I was producing multiple different ads, multiple different offers, trying to get this thing to go. And, when you started asking us to write content, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to make this really great or whatever. It's just a matter of building that content so that Google can find you, and that's happening, and we're now at the top.
Firing idiots. Dr. Z talks about this a lot. Unless you're a life coach, Z, you shouldn't
say 2 words. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So Z talks about this, which might seem mean on the outset to fire people, but Z's always told me, hey, listen, if people change seldom, and if people need a life coach, then tell them they should go hire a life coach, but don't be a life coach unless you are a life coach.
Right.
Talk to me about firing idiots.
Well, I ran my business as a life coach, hiring people who needed help, period.
Because you're an empath.
Right. And also, I wanted to feel good about how crappy I was being in my life. So I would hire people who I felt like were in a worse off shape than me and felt like maybe I could help them. But what I've learned is that you cannot get advice or take direction from people who do not have what you want, period. And so now I surround myself with people who have what I want in life, period. And if that's not you,
there it is.
You can go work at McDonald's until you are, and then maybe come work with us. I don't know.
Yeah, wisdom is hiring people that are smarter and better at you than what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And because fear keeps most people from doing that. Fear of, are they going to take the business? Are they going to? Is everybody going to like them more than me? I mean, all the things that fear comes over here. Forget about that.
Yep.
It's the wisdom is to hire people that are smarter and better, more clever than you.
Correct.
And gather them up on your team. It makes your team much, much stronger. And if more people would do that, they would have better success rates.
Now, I've worked with so many fitness companies, literally dozens. And when I've worked with fitness companies, they always are told these fitness conferences, you should change your offer every week, freshen it up. Every week there's a new offer, there's a click funnel, there's a new offer, there's a click funnel. There's a click funnel, there's a new offer, there is a new... So these marketing companies pitch it because that makes the money, because there's always something new to design.
And it doesn't work.
There's a new special.
So it keeps them coming back.
For 7 days. For 7 days and $77, you too could lose 7 pounds.
Offer ends Sunday.
Right. So this goes on. I mean, seriously, there's constant. And then make sure all your pricing ends in a 7.
Sure.
And to do social media posts with you and celebrities. And it's just, you're spending your whole day on Facebook engaging with the men and women. Talk to me about creating a no-brainer and just sticking with that freaking thing for 3 years.
You know, we have never changed our no-brainer offer ever.
What?
We don't turn it off. It's been $1 for your first month since the beginning, and it will not change.
How is that possible?
Going back to what Z just said about hiring people who kind of push you to be better or make you a bit uncomfortable. You've met my manager, right?
Right.
The guys like Sheldon from Third Rock. I could not stand this guy when I interviewed him because I saw so much. He just was not like me at all. And so, but now Clay, he comes to our meetings and he has what I don't have naturally. And he makes me uncomfortable all the time, and that's why our business is growing.
Right. Now, now you have grown from about 700 members. When we first started tracking, we didn't know how many members.
Yeah, we weren't tracking, so I don't know.
So you've gone from around 700 members-ish to on the verge of 1,900 members now.
Correct.
And 3 years, almost triple the guy's business here. Great things are happening. Let's talk about creating a purposeful schedule, because you've met people. You've met a guy even recently who said he doesn't like me. And I've never met this guy. You've met a guy who said he doesn't like me. I've never met the guy.
Right.
But he's got an opinion of me. He didn't like me.
Yep.
I've met people that don't like Z, and you get down to a why.
What?
And it's because they hate because they ain't.
Correct.
So here's the deal. Z has told me and other people, I will not meet you for lunch. I appreciate you, but I will not because I have other plans with my son or my daughter or with whatever I'm doing. You're now purposeful with your schedule, which means you're saying no to grow. Talk to us about that.
I say no to anything that is not on my task list or does not involve my family, period. No.
See,
wow, that sounds kind of narrow-minded.
Well, actually, I'm pursuing my master's in psychology, so one day I will be a counselor, and I will say yes if you decide to pay me to say yes. So
there you go.
Now, Z,
pay me the monies.
We have time for you to ask Luke any question that you would like to ask, because he is the fruits of our efforts. He's why we do it. I mean this. Yeah. I only know of 2 people who are on the verge of suicide, but I met a guy at a church. I did not want to speak at a church. I do not like speaking, especially at churches, because I oftentimes curse. And so the show's great because I can edit it. You know what I mean?
You can edit it. Yeah.
But in a church, you're like, uh-oh. So a certain pastor asked me to speak, and the rules were don't curse. I'm like,
you can say earmuffs.
Okay.
Earmuffs.
I'm speaking, and there's a guy in the audience who I kept referring to him as the brown guy. And I'm the white guy.
Jeez.
No, wait a second. No, this is good. And he said, and Andrew can vouch for this, he has said that interaction at his church changed his life, and he's almost doubled the size of his company as a result of implementing this stuff. But I went into this church, and I was speaking, and I just said, I referred to myself as the pale male and him as the brown guy, and we had a lot of fun right there. And but anyway, it's like I got his attention by messing with him a little bit, making fun of myself, changed his life. You're why Z and I do this. We have a lot of fun doing this, but you're why we do this. Z, what question would you have for Luke, or what feedback do you have for Luke?
Luke, how many men have looked at you with the seriousness in their eyes and a voice like this and said that they were your father?
Way too many.
Yeah, okay. It's just okay. You got to play a little Star Wars.
And we're right across from each other.
Yeah. I was expecting a little Star Wars, like, Luke, you are my son.
Sorry, I was kind of slow on the trigger today.
You kind of missed that. You kind of missed that one.
Sorry about that. Through editing, I can come back and catch it.
So Luke, you were at a desperate time in your life.
Absolutely.
And you were getting ready to make decisions that you thought at the time were your only out.
I was minutes away. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this occurrence happened. And at what point and what happened specifically during the course of the next however many hours or days where you tore up that piece of paper and your mindset shifted? Is there anything that you can look at that one thing that happens is a series of events? I mean, that's a pretty dramatic point to be at in someone's life. And there's someone listening right now that's at that point. I promise you.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible thing that's going on in culture these days. I mean, people out there, we all look at this Instagram and Facebook and think everybody's having these perfect lives, and then they take their life because they're not.
Right.
And that's the reality of what's going on.
Right.
This fake life that everybody posts on social media is not reality. But that aside, we know there's people out there right now at that juncture or close to that juncture in their life. What turned it around for you specifically? And can you speak into someone who may be getting ready to go to a Starbucks and write that letter out?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what exactly to say to a person that's maybe going to do that now, other than reach out to somebody, because there are people there for you, even when it seems super dark. I'm not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual, and I truly chalk up that transition to a God thing. I truly do, because it makes no other sense to me whatsoever that...
And I picked on you a lot at the conference because I felt that God thing.
Yeah.
I told Vanessa, I don't know what it is, but this guy kept doing it the whole conference. I think I probably called on you more than I've ever called on somebody at a conference. Did you remember that? I kept being like, Luke?
Yeah, sure.
Right, Luke, you wore red shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And so I'm grateful. I can say that. I have 3 beautiful kids and an amazing wife.
Yep.
And I could not imagine having put them through something like that.
Sure.
So I am extremely grateful.
Well, Luke, we're grateful that you would have the courage to come on and share your story. A lot of people wouldn't do that. So on behalf of the Thrive Nation and the 500,000 people listening, thank you for being you, man. And we're going to go interview somebody else with a story that's less epic, but still great. But I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Luke. Good seeing you, buddy.
Thank
Good
you,
seeing
Z.
you.
All
Take
right.
care.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show.
Oh, yes, Thrive Nation. Welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And today, we're answering the question that so many people have: how do I make my business grow? With Luke Owens with the Hub Gym. He's a case study, meaning that he is a real bona fide example that you can verify of a real entrepreneur who's having real growth in his real business as a result of implementing the real system. So, Chup, I'm going to walk you through real quick the steps you have to take to grow your business, and then I'm going to have Luke Owens share his hot and fresh take on how we did it, okay?
Let's do it.
Step number 1. Luke had to establish his revenue goals. All right, step 1. Step 2. He had to establish the number of customers he needed to break even and to achieve his goals. Step 3, he had to establish the number of hours that he was willing to work on his business to grow the business. Step number 4, he had to determine his unique value proposition, what makes the gym different from other gyms. Step 5, we had to improve the branding, right? Step 5, improve the branding. Step 6, we had to create a 3-legged marketing stool. Step number 7, we had to create a sales conversion system. Step number 9, we had to create repeatable systems, processes, and file organization, a.k.a. checklists, the whole deal. Step number 10, we had to learn how to manage people effectively. Step number 11, we had to create a sustainable and repetitive weekly schedule. Step number 12, we had to learn human resources and how to recruit people. And step 13, we've had to learn how to do our accounting. So step number 1, Luke, talk to me about the revenue goals. I'm not asking you on the air here to share your specific numbers, but why was it so important for you to start tracking your numbers, and how has that helped you?
Well, initially, that was the first question that Chup asked me, like, what is your financial goal? And at that time, it was kind of tough to identify that, right? So, which taught me that if you're running a business, you probably should have some idea of where you are financially and where you want to go.
Ooh, nice.
So that was the first lesson for me, is I hadn't identified that, and I obviously was not running business properly because I would say I didn't care about the money. Well, unless you're a nonprofit or independently wealthy, I think you should.
Yeah, and that was a thing that I see with a lot of new clients, Clay, and tell me if you see this as well, is a lot of people they're in the burning fires, they're in the day-to-day, and you say, what are your revenue goals? Where are you guys at right now? And they're like, I feel like...
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
not a good place to be. You need to know when it comes to your bank account, because if you run out of cash and you can't pay your team, you are hosed, homie.
Well, what you're going to have to do is get out a whiteboard today. Get out a whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard, go buy a whiteboard. Build a whiteboard. Get a whiteboard. And I want you to write down the financial goal that you have for yourself and your business. So I'll give you an example. Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge. I can be very transparent with the listeners. We only want to have 4,000 members there, okay? And we essentially already have 4,000 members. And what you mean you don't want to grow the business? Exactly. Our business, Elephant in the Room, is designed to serve it's designed to be a home run on the levels of the 3 Ps, okay? We want to have a great profit. We want to have great people that work there. And we want to make a product that we're proud to serve the community, okay?
Right.
We want to have a product or a service that we're proud of. That's the P number 1, the product or service. 2, we want to make a profit that makes sense. And 3, we want to have great people that work there. And so we've decided we're probably going to open up a 4th store to service a different part of Tulsa because, Luke, whether people love the Hub Gym or not, the reality is very few people are going to drive 25 miles to get their hair cut. So for Elephant in the Room, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't come to our locations because it's not practical to drive from the west side of the river over to the east side of the river to get your hair cut is a general rule. And at the Hub Gym, it's probably not super realistic for a ton of people from Owasso to drive to the Hub Gym. And so it's kind of a deal of like you have to know how many members that gym can support, how many members you want to get to, and then your growth needs to be once you hit that number, you can decide, do I want to open up another location? Do I want to just optimize this location? But I think in your mind, you have to know kind of, and I'm not asking for a number, but I think you have probably a number of how many members that gym can probably support.
Yeah, and our initial goal was to get 1,000 members, and today we're sitting at about 1,350.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that we've met that threshold, but I would say at this point maybe 2,000.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about, 2,000 members. But it's so important that you write down a number out there because we've had so many people approach me with Elephant in the Room saying, hey, what if we team up? Like as an example, there is a local adult beverage business. They make local IPA beers. They make local, it's a local brewery there, Chup. Mm-hmm. And they've said we should team up and do a competition where whoever has the best beard wins free beer or something like that. And that's a great idea, right? Except I don't want to do it.
There you go.
Because I don't want to team up. I don't want to be a part of the community. I don't want to do any events. I don't want to do anything at all related to local events. We give money back. We take $1 from every haircut, and we give that money back to the boys' home there in Tulsa. So
Yeah.
for the first when you come in to get your haircut for $1, the first time that $1 goes back to the boys' home. And really, I don't want to team up with any other organization other than the boys' home. And Chup, why is that important that I know what charity I want to give back to and the only charity I want to give back to?
Yeah, because the business is a vehicle to serve you and get you to your goals, not everybody else's. So it doesn't matter how many great ideas or good things that people can bring to you. If it's not on your goal list or on your schedule or your plan, you don't have to do it.
I've had a ton of people come to me and say, hey, why don't you open up a 4th location in Owasso?
Yeah.
And I haven't done it. You know why, Chup?
Because you don't want to.
Right. And Chup, you know why I'm not doing that local brewery thing?
Because you don't want to.
Right. And you know why I'm not going to do the big old, what is it, November, the Movember, where you have like a cancer awareness where you don't shave? You know why I'm not going to do that?
Because you don't want to.
Right.
Yes.
And do you know why I'm not going to team up with like the downtown, what's the downtown Sobo district, the South Boston?
Yeah.
Why I'm not going to team up with them to do some kind of local fun run?
I think it's because you don't want to.
Right. And these are all things I
Right.
don't want to do. In fact, I don't want to do anything other than to service those 4,000 customers
Right.
and to hit the 3 Ps. Great
Ps.
product that I'm proud of, to have great people that work there, right? And to have a great profit.
Don't forget about the W,
What's that?
the wall that you live behind.
Right, I love living behind the wall.
That's another thing that you like.
Now, step number 2, right? Step number 2. You have to establish the number of customers you need to break even. Luke, why was it so important for you to be honest with the numbers and to go, okay, this is how many members that I need just to pay the bills?
Well, again, the biggest light that we shined on the thing when we first started was that I had no idea, truthfully, where I was, right? I could surmise, I could guess, but that's as best as it was going to get at that time. So why it's important is because you need to know where you're at to determine where you're going.
Now, Chup, this just in from our home office here. Lee Cockrell writes, and I need some echo here, Chuck.
Okay, here we go.
And Matt, if you could pile on, because Chuck recently has been really off his echo game.
Don't
So I want
lump
this
me
to-
in with Steve Carrington.
I need this to be like a prolonged echo. So here we go. Let me get my quotable voice ready. Here we go. One of the main reasons people don't improve is that they are not honest with themselves. Lee Cockrell. That guy's name is Lee Cockrell. He's the former executive vice president. Make the echo stop.
That was short and to the point right there. That was-
Unbelievable. Okay. Now, Lee Cockrell is the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts, who used to manage 40,000 employees. And he used to manage, again, Walt Disney World Resorts, 40,000 employees, 1 million customers a week at Walt Disney World Resorts. And he says one of the reasons people don't improve is that they're not honest with themselves. So I don't think, Luke, you're running around going, I'm going to deceive myself and not be honest. I just think we hadn't had those discussions yet. You never thought about, okay, this is how many members I need to break even.
Right, and two, what I've learned with working with you all is that you can either work on your business or in it.
Explain the difference.
Well, when you're working on your business, it's sort of from a bird's eye view, right? You're looking at the whole picture. And when you're working in it, that's like selling memberships and scrubbing toilets.
Oh, yes.
And there are only 24 hours in a day. And so, it's just not effective. And what I was trying to do was work in and on it simultaneously, doing really neither very well.
Okay, and just to pile on, Jeff Hoffman and David Finkel in their best-selling book called Scale, they write, a level 2 business is a business that works, but only because you, the business owner, are there every day to make it work. You make most of the decisions, you generate most of the business, you meet with all the key clients and perform most of the important work of the business. The painful reality is that most level 2 business owners get caught in the self-employment trap. They're so busy doing the job of their business that they can't step back and focus on growing the business. What's more, because of the way they are building the business, the more success they have, the more trapped they become inside their company. So, Luke, can you explain some of the things that you kind of kept you so trapped in the day-to-day of running the company that you weren't able to take a step back and to actually work on the company?
Sure. So, again, I was the front desk, so that meant I was selling all of the memberships. I was the lead trainer, so that meant I was training all the people, doing all of the first steps, which is our onboarding program. And if there was a disaster like an overflowing toilet or something, I hate to keep talking about toilets, but those were things I had to deal with. If there's a call in the middle of the night, because we are a 24-hour gym, it was my phone that was ringing and my car that was starting to come up to the gym to deal with that.
And let me make sure the listeners out there get it. These are just some very practical tips that you can do right now to free up your time if you feel that you are trapped in the day-to-day. And Chip, we'll put this on the show notes here, okay? One is establish a rule with your team to only talk to you at your daily meeting. So like daily, just have a huddle and establish to your team, do not call me, do not text me outside of that particular daily huddle. And then step number 2, create an org chart of who they should reach out to if they have an emergency. I see so many business owners, Chep, though, that have their phone on them. As an example, like today, I basically every Friday I turn my phone off at about noon, and then my phone is off until Sunday night, and then I guess it'd be off until basically Monday at about 6 a.m. So my phone's off, 48 to 72 hours in a row there.
Right.
And some people say, how in the world can you do that? Well, I've established an org chart. So at the elephant in the room, my son was selling Boy Scout popcorn. Boy Scout popcorn this weekend. By the way, he sold $490 of Boy Scout popcorn. He's got about
Way to go, Oz.
$700 more to sell to hit his goal to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
So we're getting close there. But he goes to the elephant in the room, so I dropped him off at 8:15 on Saturday. He goes in there. Wendy helped him, and he's selling popcorn. I checked on him at noon, and then I checked on him at 5, just to make sure he's doing good, picked him up, that kind of thing. And he's learning the dark art of sales. But I don't have a constant stream of text messages coming in with emergencies throughout the day. Now, I know on Saturday at the 3 stores, we had at least 2 to 3 quote-unquote emergencies.
Absolutely.
On Saturday, because every Saturday we have 2 to 3 emergencies. And this might blow the mind of the listeners, but every week we have, and Chuck, you've been in our management meetings on Monday. Every week, do we not have some kind of emergency?
Always. You've got how many customers again?
There's about 4,000 customers, about 90 employees.
How could you not, right? With that many employees and that many customers coming in, there are going to be issues. And if you think you can run a business that's that interactive with the community and not have issues, you're not telling yourself the truth. And so you have to be proactive, like Clay's saying, and deal with these things at one time instead of every single time stream of consciousness.
But I think a lot of business owners, Luke, they make themselves available for every second of the day. They make themselves available because they've been reading a lot of these motivational books. They've attended a lot of these motivational seminars. And Ben Horowitz, this is a guy who sold his company, Opsware, to Hewlett-Packard for $1.6 billion. He writes, every time I read a management or self-help book, I find myself saying, that's fine, but that wasn't really the hard thing about the situation. The hard thing isn't setting a big, hairy, audacious goal. The hard thing is laying people off when you miss the goal. The hard thing isn't hiring great people. The hard thing is when those great people develop a sense of entitlement and start demanding unreasonable things. The hard thing isn't setting up an organizational chart. The hard thing is getting people to communicate within the organizational chart that you've just designed. Come on. The hard thing is not dreaming big. The hard thing is waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat when the dream has turned into a nightmare. This is, Luke, have you ever found yourself in a spot at the Hub Gym previous to working with us where you felt like it had become a nightmare?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the day that I came to the first conference, I was in it. I was living it. And I remember saying, I will give this thing away. I would have given the gym away to relieve that stress. Thankfully, I came to your conference, and I remember talking with you and Zellner and saying, hey, I don't know how to make this work. Based on the financial situation the gym was in at the time, but I have to do this in order for us to move forward.
And that's the only reason that I do what I do. I love helping people achieve time freedom and financial freedom, Chup. And I think a lot of people just don't know these 13 steps, and that's why we're stuck. And the problem is, Luke, you've gone to college. Eric, Chup, you've been to college. What college did you go to, Chup?
Oklahoma State University.
And I went to Oral Roberts University, and you graduated, Chup, with a degree in what?
I have 2 degrees, one in management and one in marketing.
And do you use any of the management things you were taught in college ever on a daily basis to either A, coach your clients, or did you use them when you ran your own business?
Let me think. Subtract that. No, 0 times.
Right.
Basically 0 times.
Because everything they teach at college is crap.
It's even worse than that, Clay. It's like we talk about. It's all memorization, even at the college level. And so even if it wasn't crap, I wouldn't remember it anyways because it's like study here, remember this, put it on the paper. Now all completely different things. And there's no application at all.
And it's wrong.
Most of the time. Absolutely. Or all the time.
I would say all the time it's wrong. As an example, Luke. Okay, as an example. Okay, here we go. We're talking about step number 3. Establish the number of hours you're willing to work in your business. College never teaches you that. In fact, I had a professor at one point, I remember teaching this in college. He said that if you're a good small business owner, you need to be responsive to your customers all the time. So I know a lot of people who went to Oral Roberts University. I know these people who literally own restaurants and businesses who are now in their 40s, who work every freaking hour of the day because they believe they're supposed to be. Another example, I remember teaching, I got asked to speak at a local college, and the guy speaking before me, the professor speaking before me, was talking about social media and how you need to respond to all of the comments and reviews real time.
Yeah.
And he's showing case studies of how the best companies respond to social media as soon as possible. Chuck, if I did respond to all the social media comments, could we possibly grow elephant in the room?
No, and that's the whole thing is like scale out those ideas, everybody. If you've got a new concept or a new idea, Clay talks about on the show, if like your main marketing strategy is networking, scale that idea out. Where does that take you? Is that actually even possible? And that's what we're saying is it's not even possible to respond to every single message. You wouldn't have time to be proactive and prepare.
Luke, have you been to some of those chamber events or networking events where somebody's speaking and telling you the importance of making sure that you're involved in every community event and that you network constantly and that you need to constantly update your social media status? Have you ever seen these kinds of events?
Yeah, of course. And thankfully, my first business partner told me, he kept an eye on me, right? And so one day I left to one of these networking meetings.
Right.
And being the only person in the gym, that meant the gym had no one there. I was gone for like 3 hours or something, networking, trying to build my business. I wasn't in it. So that was the last time I ever did that.
There's one group, I can't seem to place the name, Chup, and I don't want you to help me figure it out either. But it's called, I think it's called 1 million containers.
Something like
or 1 million mugs. Mm-hmm. 1 million 1 million containers. It's 1 million things that hold beverages. Whatever that group is called. 1 million somethings that hold beverages. And I also call it the Mental Masturbation Festival.
Oh.
And you go there, and you'll usually have a professor
you need your
from the university of somewhere who will get up there and will talk to you about 3 hot topics. There's 3 hot topics they love to talk about. One is the importance of being a good community member. Mm-hmm. They love to talk about, as a business owner,
gotta give back.
Give back. Second thing they talk about a lot. They love to talk about social justice and environmentalism.
Got to.
They love to talk about you got to be more responsible, social justice, you got to recycle. Third, they love talking about how the internet has completely changed and how the only way to market your business today is by being a social media superstar. It doesn't matter who speaks, but it's usually going to be someone who speaks, who has a startup, who is failing, and they get to speak. And everyone's like, oh, this is good. I'm going to take notes.
Really doing
and it doesn't matter whether you're successful at all. You just get to speak because they rotate, Luke. Look, if you go to enough of these events, you get to speak.
I don't want to speak.
So you get up there. No, I'm sorry. Have you seen these events?
Yeah.
You get up there and you're like,
absolutely.
My name is Kevin, and I started a company that gives back. It's environmentally friendly, and I care a lot about the community.
We turn recycled furniture into matches.
These are my ways that I market on social media.
Here's what I know.
Yes.
Okay. Zellner told me, he said, if you want to operate as a nonprofit, do that.
Right.
Start a nonprofit. But you're in business to make money.
Make it the money.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right?
No, that's the whole point.
But some people have this idea that they need to be serving the community. Well, you can't serve the community if you're broke.
Bam.
Right?
Well, that's right.
So you just got to scrap that.
Now, okay, step number 3, though, you got to determine the number of hours that you're willing to work. So I'm telling you specifically, if you want to run a company, this is how you get your schedule as small as possible. These are the hours you have to work. 1, you have to do the weekly group interview. That's 1 hour. Weekly, you have to interview all your candidates. That's 1 hour. Hour 2, you have to have an all-staff meeting every week. Every week, you have to have an all-staff meeting every week, okay? You got to do the group interview, all-staff meeting. 3, this is the 3rd hour. You have to do your accounting 1 hour a week. You have to look at your numbers at least 1 hour a week, all right? 4, you have to do a daily huddle. Now, if you're able to run a company effectively, you should be able to run the company and only need to work there about 7 hours a week. That's about all you should need to work. Now, if you want to work 0 hours a week, like my main man, Dr. Z, does, then you want to hire a very effective manager like Monty. And effective managers usually are about $80,000 to $100,000 a year. So before you go out there and say you want to have, this is what's so ridiculous, Chup. There's so many of these stupid events where they talk about passive income.
Yes.
Can I want to go off for a little bit. I feel like I haven't gone off about passive income.
Please.
I feel like it's been a long time since I've gone.
Can you be passive about it, though?
Okay, real quick. Passive income. How in the crap can you make passive income? So let's think about all the ways that you can't make passive income, but that people claim you have. Right. Matt, have you ever heard about making passive income?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into multi-levels first. So this is how you make passive income. Step 1, convince your friend to auto-ship a product that's unproven to work, that has been made and tested in some ambiguous laboratory in Europe.
That you probably don't even need to begin
Right.
with.
And you want them to auto-ship whatever the crap is, and they need to auto-ship more crap than they could ever possibly consume. If it's toothpaste, they need to auto-ship more toothpaste than they could possibly ever use. If it's supplements, they need to auto-ship more supplements than they could ever possibly use.
Well, they have to, because if they're going to build their down leg, Clay, then they have to.
But even under that
down leg.
But even under that paradigm, you have to get in touch with your team every month to make sure that their cards go through. When the cards get declined, you got to motivate them to give you a new card. You've got to talk to them about the future of the product. There's nothing passive about multi-level. There's nothing. I mean, in fact, step number 1. Destroy all of your relationships and exchange them for a paycheck. That's step 1. Then step 2, continue harassing and beating up your friends every month to get that passive check.
I got to get that Mercedes, man.
Please
Got to get that.
Preach.
Got to get that. Okay, so that's that. Let's do real estate.
Okay, yeah,
That's not
super. That's passive, man.
No,
Come on, passive.
Have you ever had a tenant? Chubb, have you ever rented a property to somebody?
No.
Have you, Luke?
I have not, but I know about this.
Okay,
yes.
let me tell you about this. Step one, you get a good property.
Oh, yeah.
You take care of that property.
Fix it up.
In my case, I rented it to a guy
Yeah.
that I knew very, very well.
I've seen the photos of this said property.
I knew, and I rented the property to a guy I know very, very well. A guy who had a good background. I thought this guy will be a good renter.
tenant,
He's a
yeah.
good guy. And so he decides to use my deck as a backdrop for his graffiti art. True story. He decides to remove my ceiling fans and to bring them to his new office.
Oh, yeah.
He decides to remove my built-in bookshelves, and he decides to pull them out. I had a decorative lion head where water came out of fountain. He decided to just remove that, and he won't tell me where it is. He decided to not mow the lawn for usually 60 days at a time.
Take the fence down, too, right?
So every time that his check bounced or it didn't go through or he couldn't pay, we'd show up at the property to collect the money. And it looked like he was trying to take his front lawn and turn it back to the native Oklahoma prairie.
It was like Jumanji, right?
It looked like he was building the gathering place, all that local grass that's growing. It was like a Amazon. It looked like he was
Tunnels and bridges everywhere.
It's crazy.
It was.
Nothing passive about real estate. Nothing
way.
passive about multi-level. Nothing passive about having a business. Luke, how passive is the staffing of the Hub Gym? Could you just disappear for 90 days and come back, and I'm sure you'd have a great staff?
Yeah, I don't know the name of any of my staff. No, it's not passive. What are you talking about? So you have
People teach that crap all the time.
Yeah, you have to touch base. You have to touch base with your staff.
It's not even a realistic goal. There's so many books. If you have a book out there written about passive income, burn
it.
No, wait, I tell you what. Bring the book to my office.
Yes.
Bring it to the Thrive 15 headquarters. Bring your book. Bring your book. If you have a book out there about passive income, please bring the book to the Thrive 15 headquarters in Jinx. It's at the Riverwalk, 1100 Riverwalk Terrace. Bring the book to 1100 Riverwalk Terrace. Bring your book about passive income. Bring it. And I promise you I'll do two things. One, I will burn it. Step two, I will pee on it.
Right there in the chimenea.
I will. I promise you. Now, I'm not going to let you watch because you don't need to be seeing that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's-
But you have to, because it's not even a realistic goal.
That's right. Why would you want that anyways? Like, it just doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make seriously. You say, well, Dr. Z has passive income. Dr. Z has managers, and they're not passive. He has to maintain the relationship.
That's what I was going to say. He touches base with them every week, and he is. There's an org chart, and
But
everybody
there's so
knows.
many people pursuing passive income. If you've been watching YouTube videos from some guy from Australia,
Hey, mate.
hi, hello, good to see you there.
I didn't see you.
Didn't see you there. Here
Here's
I am.
all- so get out of
Look
my
at me.
Lamborghini
There's
here.
some attractive ladies behind me. I'm at my pool, and I want to teach you 8 ways to make passive income overnight. Overnight income. I make over $9,000 a month from my laptop.
2
no,
hours
you
a week.
don't. You don't. It's
Why
not,
are you recording this commercial right now, you liar?
Why is this even a goal?
Right.
It's unbelievable. And then I see the chambers give you a goal like your business should reinvigorate downtown. What? How is that a goal that your business?
Downtown should reinvigorate itself, so
All
I
right.
moved my business down there.
So step 4, you have to determine your unique value proposition. This is what makes you different. Now, Seth Godin calls this the purple cow. Eric, if you had to describe what makes the Hub Gym and different from other gyms, how would you describe that?
Well, first of all, I would describe the just the look of inside the gym. A lot of the gyms, the big box ones you go to, they're very sterile. There's no, like, it's all the same. Everything looks exactly the same, and you can tell Luke has taken time to plan out each workout area. There's inspiration. There's art everywhere, all over the walls. It's eclectic, but not in the homeless kind of.
And we're going to
eclectic way.
continue taking it to the next level.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's
right.
going to continue getting better.
He's got a Growrilla. I mean, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us about the Growrilla, Luke?
Man, this guy is great. When you told me buy an inflatable gorilla,
20-foot gorilla.
I thought, what in the heck are you thinking, right? But
He didn't say that. He just did it, and that's a good
I just
thing.
did, yeah. If Clay says it, I'm doing it. Let's just do it. But we put him out, randomly as weather permits, and people pull in. It's crazy.
Isn't it crazy? A large inflatable gorilla. How tall is this gorilla?
I literally think he's like 20, 30 feet, something crazy. I don't know. It's
People
huge.
just show up.
They drive in, and they specifically mention the gorilla.
Exactly. So it's a purple cow. Now, a purple cow, according to Seth Godin, the best-selling author who sold his company Yo-Yo Dine to Yahoo for $30 million, writes, in a crowded marketplace, fitting in is failing. Not standing out is the same as being invisible. Boring is invisible. Remarkable people and products get talked about. So I ask you there, Mr. Thriver, Mrs. Thriver, what makes your company unique? Think about that. Really think about how can you make your product stand out in a crowded marketplace. Now, step 5, you got to improve that branding. Now, the branding is, I think a lot of people can get woo-woo about this, Chuck. There's a lot of woo-woo. So I'm going to read the notable quotable, and I'd like to have Matt break it down, because, Matt, you work at the Thrivetime Show offices. And I'd love to get your take on this. You are not a business coach.
Right.
I'm not asking you to be one, but you are a guy. You're a man of the world.
Aw.
You know what's going on. Okay, here we go. This is what Michael Levine. By the way, Michael Levine, my wife and I just signed Michael Levine to be our PR consultant
That's
for
right.
the Thrivetime Show.
Nice.
So Michael Levine, he's the PR consultant for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Nancy Kerrigan.
Pizza Hut.
And for myself. Myself. So this is what he
Clark.
says. He says, if you give someone a present and you give it to them in a Tiffany box, it's likely that they'll believe that the gift has a higher perceived value than if you gave it to them in no box or a box of less prestige. That's not because the receiver of the gift is a fool, but instead because we live in a culture in which we gift wrap everything. Our politicians, our corporate heads, our movie and TV stars, and even our toilet paper. Matt, why does branding matter so much?
Because branding's all in the mind of the buyer. If you can make your product or your service stand out and it seem like it's worth more, well then in their mind it is worth more.
So, Luke, we've had to go out there and optimize your website, the look of it. We've had to optimize your logo. We've had to optimize your one sheet. We had to optimize your marketing videos. We had to optimize signage, optimize exterior lighting. And we're really never done optimizing things. There's some really neat, we talked about on Friday, some neat things that are going to be updated in the gym.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about why branding has, or how branding has impacted your business the most?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the U in our logo, right? My wife and I spend a lot of time, thinking about those things. And
It's you,
it's
babe.
you, babe. It's all about you. And there is a sign with our U on it in another place in town, and people are recognizing it, right?
Oh,
And initially it was, you're not Nike, so the swoosh doesn't work. And it's working now. The people recognize the U, and it's synonymous with the hub.
and your idea to embroider the U on your head is a really controversial idea. I'm glad you haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet. But now, step number 6, you want to create a 3-legged marketing stool. Now, a lot of people get woo-woo about this, Chuck. Woo-woo, woo-woo. They feel like marketing is a theoretical, always changing event of the week. Event of the week. People feel like marketing is the event of the week.
Clay, it's getting stale. We got to change it up. Things are.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to read to you a notable quotable from Chet Holmes. Now, Chet Holmes is the best-selling author of The Ultimate Sales Machine. He was a partner of Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's partner. Okay, so this is Chet Holmes. His book is called The Ultimate Sales Machine. He passed away a few years back, but I want to read you his notable quotable. He says, the missing ingredient for nearly all of the 1,000-plus clients I've worked with directly to improve their business is pig-headed discipline and determination. We all get good ideas at seminars and from books, radio talk shows, and business-building gurus. The problem is that most companies do not know how to identify and adapt the best ideas to their business. Implementation, not ideas, is the real key to success. So, Luke, can you share what the 3-legged marketing stool is that we've been implementing there at the Hub Gym?
I can. So we have been running Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. Do we ever turn them off?
Never. And it's never changed, right? People, oh, you still running? Yes, I'm still running it. It's working. And then we do Google ads as well, and AdRoll. I think
the
those
retargeting ads.
the
Yep,
retargeting
They follow
ads.
you around.
Right. So
Search engine optimization.
yeah. So that's what
I
want to
make sure we're recapping the moves here, okay? We never stop optimizing the website. This month, we're putting back about $2,000 into search engine optimization.
Yep.
We never are done. We are never done gathering reviews from our real clients.
Never?
We're never done we're never done running our Google ads.
Never?
Never done with our retargeting ads. Never done with our Facebook ads. Now, you've said, Clay, I thought it was a 3-legged marketing stool. The way it works is you don't want to add a new leg until you have 3 stable legs.
Right.
So let me just give you an example. This podcast, Chup, as of the time of the recording of today's show, we're approaching 1,400 podcasts you can find at thrivetimeshow.com.
That's a pile.
Now, why is it important that we don't add any other kind of marketing until we can consistently just record one podcast a day? Why was it so important for us just to start one podcast a day before we launched retargeting ads?
Well, one thought is that you've got to be fruitful and then multiply.
Right.
So do what you're doing. And then the other thing is you've got to measure. You don't want to go jump out there with 12 legs to your marketing system because it's going to be too much to measure and you won't know if your resources are being allocated properly.
And Luke and I have done this. We've gone through this. We know who his ideal and likely buyers are.
Right.
We know the average age, the average income, where they're from, where their kids go to school. We're not going to be running a lot of ads to go after South Tulsa for a gym in Broken Arrow. Because people just aren't going to drive from 151st or 111th and Memorial over to the Hub Gym. But people who live in the Broken Arrow area love the gym. If you're living around the Lynn Lane area, the Elm area, anywhere in Broken Arrow, people love it. It's convenient. If you live over there by Rama, if you live over there by the Lowe's or the Warren Theater.
And those are the people that are going to see the ads.
Right. And we're not, and also if you're into that, if you're into the concept of roid rage, you probably won't like the Hub Gym.
No.
It's not a gym where there's a lot of, it's not their niche. How much does it cost a month to go to the Hub Gym?
So after the initial month for only $1, you're looking at a whopping $29 a month for full access to the club 24/7.
And the ads won't work unless you have a no-brainer.
That's right.
So you can have all the ads in the world, but what gets you the entrance into the game,
the golden look,
is having a no-brainer. Tell us again, Luke, what's your no-brainer?
So your first month is only $1.
What?
And you can find that on thehubgym.com or on Facebook. Check out our ads.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am very
serious. And don't call me Shirley.
A lot of people, though, get hung up on that. They say there's no way possible that you could run a gym and have your first month be $1. Nope. How is it possible, Luke?
Well, I remember when we first started talking about this, and I thought, offer a dollar, the doors are going to be flooded. I'm not going to be, everybody's, and that just isn't the case, It's just a good leader to get people in, have a great experience, and it's working. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know the math behind it, but it is, and we're going to continue doing it.
Now, as we talk about step number 7, before we get into step 7, which is creating a sales conversion system, I'd like for Matt to be able to ask you a few questions because, Matt, you've often talked about, I know you want to eventually own your own business someday.
Right.
And you're also involved with the ministry.
Right.
Luke is doing it. There's a lot of people that talk about doing it, but he's doing it. Luke has done it. He's done a lot of these steps, and now we're just scaling the steps. Do you have any questions for Luke about implementation? Because so many people talk about wanting to grow their company, but as they begin to grow the company, Chuck, they mentally cannot handle growth.
Right.
I see a ton of people that say, I want to grow my company. I want to grow my company. And then we help them grow the company, and they can't mentally handle it.
Yeah, that happens.
So here we have a real example of a real guy who's doing it, the Hub Gym, Luke Owens. Matt, do you have any questions for Luke about implementation?
Why did you choose the marketing methods that you chose? Like, why not a billboard or a TV spot? Why internet marketing?
So here's what's cool about working with Thrive. You don't have to think about those things. It was never a question of, hey, are we going to spend $2,000 a month on a billboard? If that makes sense in the future, we'll talk about that. But they have a proven system, and you just have to be willing to follow it, and that just wasn't one, There were a couple of things we talked about initially, and we tried them. They work. If we tried them and they didn't work, we didn't keep doing them.
That's a very different, what you just said, Luke, it's very different than most marketing firms or even most businesses. Most businesses try a new form of marketing every week.
That's wasting a lot of resources.
Can you talk to me about what it was like when you were running your business with the idea of the week and always having maybe a new fun run or a new marketing idea or a new social media strategy or a new t-shirt or a new banner or a new print piece or a new ad in a magazine?
It's
or
crazy.
Talk to me what that felt like.
Well, it exactly how I just felt when you were listing all those off.
Anxiety.
Crazy, right? And so, what you've taught me is that the business is to work for you. And that's how it's contrary, right? Like, I was working for the business, which meant I never saw my family. My first son, I think I literally never put him to bed or woke up with him the first few years at least of his life. And because I was always at that next event or, behind the computer creating something new, it was always a reactionary existence. And so, that's it's not. It doesn't.
I want to
work.
walk the listeners, Chup, inside the mind of the average business owner that's doing ideas of the week marketing.
Oh, boy.
So here we go. AdWords, Amazon, automobile wraps, mass mailers, mass texting, mass voicemails, AdWords, blog-based advertising, automobile wraps, mass emails, Aweber, Constant Contact, SurveyMonkey, business development partnership deals, buying, merging, selling, celebrity endorsement, cold call marketing, door-to-door sales, Dream 100, email marketing, Facebook advertising, flyers, Google Maps, Google reviews, Google shopping. Maybe I should do magazine advertising. Maybe mall shopping center traffic, outdoor signage, newspaper advertising, Pandora, pay-per-click, Spotify, pop-up shops, public relations, celebrity tie-in strategy, expert strategy, give-back strategy, national news tie-in, the chamber ads, buy an ad, Yellow Pages, do those still work? Yelp, YouTube advertising, Valpak, trade show advertising, text marketing, targeting online ads, television advertising, social media. Maybe I should be a public speaker. Maybe I should write a book. Maybe I should get a sign flipper. Maybe I should do search engine advertising. Where do I start? What's new? Maybe I go on YouTube. I just read a blog. Google's changed everything. YouTube. Google's changed everything. Oh my crap! Google's changed everything. This is what happens.
That's inside the mind.
Inside the mind of idea of the week marketing. It will cause you insanity, and then soon you'll live in a van down by the river. Okay, now step number 7, creating a sales conversion system. This is the part where everybody has to do this, and when people don't fight you, like Luke, it's awesome. Okay, here's what happens is, step 1, you got to write a call script. Got to get that boom, 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 that boom, boom. Got to have that call script. Got to get that. Why do you have to have a call script?
Or you'll end up with a hashtag tattoo on your wrist. So we were in the office, and Chup said, "Hey, why don't you make a sales call?" And I said, "Awesome, I can do that. I've been doing this for years." He's like, "Where's your script?" I don't need a script. We get on the phone, and I have
right there in the meeting. It was great.
It was crazy town, and so the phone answers, and I start to speak, and I lose my mind. And then I start cursing on the phone, like I don't know what to say, and this is still live. And then I realize it's live, and so I just hang up, and we all lose our mind. Like, what are you doing? And then he brings Marshall in to share in this awesomeness, and Marshall says, "Why didn't you just hit the pound sign? I guess that stops the call or does something."
It was a voicemail. You were leaving.
Yeah,
he was leaving a voicemail.
Which you should never do. And so now I have an awesome hashtag tattoo on my wrist.
It's a reminder of that one
I never want to
fail.
forget that.
You got to create an inbound sales script and an outbound sales script, okay? Then you have to have a pre-written email that goes out. Pre-written emails. You got to have pre-written text messages. You got to create a sales one sheet. And you've got to use Clarity Voice or some recording program to record your calls. And in your case, Luke, you guys are more of a gym than like a personal training business, right? But let's say in the gym, or if you have a personal training company, you got to install cameras. And why do you have to install cameras in the actual gym? How is that helpful when you put cameras in the gym?
Well, you can review what your staff and your clients are doing. You're dealing with people, right? So things happen, and you definitely don't want to be about somebody's opinion or word. You want to know and be able to verify.
That's what you do. You got to record your calls. You got to put in video. That's why things are growing at the hub. Now, step 8, the Ocho. You got to figure out what it costs you to acquire a new customer. Determine the sustainable customer acquisition costs. Determine the sustainable customer acquisition costs. Why is it so important that we track every single week, Luke, how much you're spending on advertisement and how many new members you're getting?
Well, because that converts to a cost per member, and you want to make sure that you're converting at a rate or spending, the money you're spending is converting those members at that rate, at the cost.
And you can scale it up then.
Right.
You know, it's
That's right.
$40 per new member, then you can decide if you're going to scale it up.
That's right, and this is the first steps to let's take the Hub Gym or Elephant in the Room, right? You know if your no-brainer is working based on knowing these numbers. If you don't know what these numbers are, you don't have your customer acquisition cost, then you don't necessarily know if your no-brainer is a good deal for you as a business owner.
I see so many people saying, I'm not going to spend any money on advertising. I'm going to market on social media.
Oh yeah.
What's that going to cost you? Like your whole day?
Yeah, you're
Your
telling,
whole day
telling
writing
people,
your viral tweets, you genius you?
Yeah, telling people that already know about you. Like that doesn't help.
You know, Clay, you've had me over the last week or so start really diving in to the expenses and income of the gym,
That's
right?
all we've been doing.
Because we've been growing, and
Right.
that's great. We're over 70% growth, but we're noticing where's that, and so we start looking at that, and we get to see where we're spending money. You say make cuts. Well, before a couple of weeks ago, I would have said there's nothing to cut, and we've cut over $2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month. So we've generated $24,000 a year of
Bam.
extra income as a result of just cutting things. And by the way, no one got laid off.
No.
We didn't sit there and fire people. We just got rid of unneeded expenses. And it's very easy for those expenses to creep up by entropy, by default. They just happen. So you've
Yes.
got to be very mindful of your expenses. Now, step number 9. Once you've begun to sell things and you're growing, now you got to create repeatable processes. Essentially, don't over-spiritualize this. You've got to have a checklist for everything. Luke, how has having a checklist for everything helped you?
It's helped me immensely. It's sitting right next to me here on the table, and what that allows me to do is say no to a lot of things. If you're not on my list, and it's just something I don't have to say yes to, right? And so it's allowed me to say no, and it keeps things out of my mind. I don't have to remember everything, which in turn means I'm going to forget everything. It's right there on the list.
It's
awesome.
allowed you to duplicate yourself within the business, right?
Oh, my
Like you were
gosh,
saying,
yes.
you don't have to be there 24/7 every single day because you've created these systems and processes for your team to use, right? How do I clean the bathroom? How do I open the gym up? How do I restock the shelves? How do I clean the equipment? It's all in a process and a
Right.
checklist.
And
I don't want anybody else. I just want a business that serves myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it serves myself. I don't want anything else. Oh no. Oh no. God, that song is so good and so gross. You remember that? You remember that song? You remember
What,
that song?
I want a business that serves myself.
No, do you remember that? Do you remember the
Of
original?
course I remember the original.
You do?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
When I think about Clay.
No, do you
Never mind.
remember that song?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Luke, do you remember that song?
Yes, I do.
Matt, do you not remember that song?
Nope.
Really?
When I think about you,
Whoa.
I touch my-
Okay. It's a group called the Divinals, all right? And it says, I love myself. I want you to love me. When I feel down, I want you above me. I search myself. Come on, Chop. I want you
know the
to
words.
find me. I forget myself. I want you to remind me. I don't want anybody else. Matt, when I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's what you missed out on, dude.
When
You were
I
way
think
too late.
about
I
you.
think that was before my time.
When were you born? What year?
93.
93? I feel like that song came out probably in 93.
That was the year of you, man.
That song came out. Let's see what year. Chubb, can you find out what song? 1990.
Oh, my God.
Dude, that was 3 years before your birth. Here's my theory. You were conceived to that song. Oh, God. Yes.
3 years later. Yes. Now we have a Matt.
It took a while for it to happen, but it was a 3-year process. They would just crank up those jams every night. It would create that love and feeling. And all of a sudden, Matt emerges on the scene.
Oh, God.
This is the, hey, Chubb, this is the circle.
Yes.
This is the circle. It all comes
The
back.
same gestation
This is
period
imaging I
as an
don't
elephant.
want.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Okay, we move on now. Now, step number 10, the management and execution. Why has it been so important for you to learn how to manage people? And how are you managing people differently now than you used to?
That's I'll make that a simple statement. I managed from emotion before, period. Right? Tried to make everybody happy.
He got so emotional, baby. Every time he managed his
business,
people. He got so emotional, baby. Then he screwed it up. Sorry.
Lost his time.
No, but seriously, when you manage emotionally, what happens, dude?
It just doesn't work. You're that what are these things called? Click funnels or whatever. You become that. You become that, right? Because everybody's coming to you about their story and about what's going on in their life all the while yours is.
Let me give you an
going down
example.
the
Let me just
tube.
give you an example of what terrible management looks like so you guys can get this idea. It's where you give someone a task to do, right? And you say, I need you to go to the store and purchase paper.
Yep.
And I need you to shut the door every day. Lock the gym on your way out. Lock the gym. I need you to purchase paper today, and I need you to clean the bathrooms.
if you feel like it.
And then every time you follow up with the person, every time you follow up, right, because you've now been to a motivational event, you've read the first chapter of a management book, you then follow up for the first time. And all employees have the following 3 excuses.
Here they come.
Until you learn how to become a good manager. All employees have the same excuses until you learn how to become an effective manager. Now, the employees that don't give you these excuses are what we would call A players, and that would represent 20% of the workforce. But everybody else has these 3. I'm sure you've heard these. They say, I forgot. That's excuse number 1. I forgot. Guy forgot. The second thing they say is they say there was a miscommunication, right? And the third is they just simply choose not to, but they have an emotional justification for it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever run into those things, Luke, where people just emotionally gave you a justification for not getting something done?
All of the time. And when you're emotional, they're going to be emotional.
That's how it works. So now how do you manage now? How's it different?
It's very cut and dry. We set expectations. We hold people accountable. And, if you choose not to do it more than about once, we're just going to move on.
And when you stop acting in that emotional sphere, that emotional realm, you stop saying yes to everything, right? And you begin saying no, and that's where your time freedom creation begins, because you're saying no to things that are not on your goal list.
That's right.
And as we wrap up today's show, we have step 11, 12, and 13, which you couldn't manage people effectively if you don't do these next 3 steps, okay? So step 11 is you have a repeatable weekly schedule. You now have a weekly staff meeting, and you have daily huddles where you know if something's weird before it gets out of control. You know if somebody's operating below the standard quickly so you can nip it in the bud. You're not waiting for a quarter to go by or a year to go by.
Right.
Colleges would encourage you to give people an annual review.
Right.
How insincere is an annual employee review? You meet with somebody at the end of the year and you just remember like the last things they did in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then that somehow becomes a summary of their annual. No, what you do is you meet with people. You have a weekly schedule where you have a weekly staff meeting and a daily huddle. And if something gets weird, you can nip it in the bud because you have a repeatable schedule that your employees can count on. You must create a sustainable and repetitive weekly schedule. Step 12, human resources and recruitment. You're never done doing the group interview. Why can you never stop doing the group interview, Luke?
Well, I don't want to be behind the desk selling memberships anymore, so I've got to have people in the batter's box, if you will.
Nice.
Now, step 13, you've got to do your accounting and automate the earning of money. What you have to do is you have to sit there and do your accounting, and you got to be intense about paying yourself first. You've got to, in your mind, you got to automate this concept of I'm going to pay myself first. I'm going to do my accounting, and the way I do accounting with you, I've been helping you the last month or so on this. It's very active.
Yes.
It's very, it's like offense meets accounting. Accounting typically is something people do if they have time, but we make it an aggressive thing. And we're aggressively cutting wasteful spending. We're aggressively focusing on paying you. And why is it so important that we focus on paying you, Luke?
Well, I've got a certain level of lifestyle that I want to attain. I have 3 children and a beautiful wife and a dog. They all need food and shelter. So it's kind of one of those things. And I don't want to work 80 hours a week like I have for the last 12 years. So,
but by default,
yeah.
you weren't paying yourself.
No, I was not. So
everybody who worked there was making more than you were.
And I'll tell you, doing this active management of the funds, we found over $4,000 in errors day before yesterday.
Yep.
We would not have found those. They would have been gone for the month, which skews everything. I was able to deposit that money into the bank.
You've got to be intense about your accounting and schedule a weekly time to do your accounting. My name's Clay Clark. I'm a business coach. I do this because I believe in you. I believe in your power to change. I know that you have the capacity and the tenacity needed to succeed, but you cannot get anything done unless you're willing to take action. If you're not willing to take action, you're just not going to have success. And yesterday, as I was preparing to interview the guy who wrote the book called The Automatic Millionaire, I was reading through his book, and I was freshening up my notes. His name is David Bach. And he had a quote in there that blew my mind. And he's been on Oprah, by the way. He's been on, the Today Show. His name's David Bach. His book's called The Automatic Millionaire. And he had a notable quotable that I want to read with the listeners out there, Chuck. He says, remember, inspiration unused is merely entertainment. Ooh. Woo! He says, remember, inspiration unused is merely entertainment. To get new results, you need to take new actions. That's powerful. And I'm not ripping on church. I'm not ripping on business consulting. I'm not ripping on watching motivational movies. I'm just saying, you got to do something, man. You can't just be a hearer of the word. You got to be a doer. You got to get things done. And that's why I want to just celebrate Luke and all the Thrivers out there who are getting things done. They're implementing what they're learning. Check them out today. It's the Hub Gym in downtown Broken Arrow. If you're looking for an affordable gym, a place where you can get in great shape, located right near you for as little as, $30 a month, Luke?
Yeah, $29 a month after your first month is only $1.
Check them out today. It's the Hub Gym. And also, if you're out there listening, I know we have hundreds of thousands of people who listen to this all over the world. Just go to the Hub Gym today and check him out to verify he's a real guy.
Just do it.
He's a real doer. He's implementing the proven systems. Let him be your source of inspiration. Now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! What if one awkward, potentially even harsh conversation had the opportunity to serve as the catalyst that would forever change your life? My name is Clay Clark, and I'm the father of 5 kids. I had a goal to be a millionaire before the age of 30 and to hire my dad. And after I achieved my goals, I've spent the vast majority of my professional career helping people like you. Because I care enough about you, I'm willing to have that tough conversation with you today. Because I believe in your future and I know of your dynamic ability to change. Are you tired of chasing your rainbow dreams and being one of the 90% of American businesses that fail every single year? Are you tired of feeling stuck and being one of the 70% of Americans that hates their jobs? Are you looking to build a real business that will realistically create both time and financial freedom for you and your real family while you're still on Earth and healthy enough to enjoy it? Are you done with the pyramid schemes, the get-rich-quick hype programs, the no-money-down real estate scams, and those quasi-religious, feelings-focused motivational seminars? Are you looking for the practical and actionable business systems and processes and the strategies that both Dr. Zellner and I have used to build 13 multi-million-dollar real businesses? My friend, these are real companies. We're talking about a real multi-million-dollar optometry clinic, a real multi-million-dollar wedding photography service, a real multi-million-dollar durable medical equipment company, a real multi-million-dollar men's grooming franchise, a real multi-million-dollar marketing company, a real multi-million-dollar auto auction, a bank, a top 10 iTunes podcast in the category of business, and an Amazon best-selling book. So are we lucky? Do we just know how to pick the right industry, or do we know the proven path? My friend, why do 90% of businesses fail, yet all of our businesses don't? What if you knew the proven systems too? Would you too earn financial freedom? But will the system work for you? Well, I don't know. Call Rachel and Tyler Hastings with the Delricht Clinical Research in New Orleans. These folks have implemented our systems over the past 22 months, and they are now making an incredible monthly profit with Delricht Clinical Research of over $100,000 per month. Will the system work for you? I don't know. Call Thomas Crossan with Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas, and ask him what it feels like to go from being a startup to grossing over $100,000 per month with his real estate photography business within 26 months of joining our program and implementing the proven business strategies. But will the system work for you? I don't know. Call Rachel and Ryan with Tip Top Canine and ask them what it's like to grow their dog training business from just one location to over 8 locations within just 24 months, implementing our proven business coaching system. But will the system work for you? I don't know. Call Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes and ask him what it feels like to be Oklahoma's largest home builder and what it feels like to increase the amount of inbound leads that he receives by over 300% within just 18 months of implementing our proven system. So what does it cost? And what's included in this system? My friend, the Thrivetime Show business coaching program is now enrolling just 2,500 people out there just like you into our exclusive Ultimate Business Coaching Program. This program includes one ticket to the 2-day, 15-hour, and the world's highest and most reviewed business workshop at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This program will allow you exclusive access to email your questions to info@thrivetimeshow.com, where they can be answered on the podcast and the live radio show broadcasts. This program will give you access to over 2,500 business training videos taught by people like the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts, who once managed over 40,000 employees and 1 million customers per week. You can learn leadership, taught by the iconic investor and 2-time NBA champion, 2-time gold medalist, and NBA MVP David Robinson. You can learn public relations, taught by the PR consultant of choice for Nike, President Bush, President Clinton, Prince, Michael Jackson, Nancy Kerrigan, and Charlton Heston, and countless other world-class mentors. And my friend, you will gain exclusive VIP access to get a behind-the-scenes look at our businesses, including the elephant in the room. How do the systems work? Dr. Robert Zeller and Associates, how do the systems come together? And the Z66 auto auction. Okay, so what does the world's most effective and practical business school cost you? Well, if you went to the University of Tulsa and studied at a private school, you won't learn anything that will help you to start or grow a real business, and it will cost you $40,221 per year. Now, if you went to Oral Roberts University, where I personally went to school, and studied business at yet another private school, you still won't learn anything practical there either that will help you to grow a successful company. But it will cost you $41,024 per year. So let's do the math. That means that the Thrivetime Show Business School without the BS experience is $39,993 less per year than the University of Tulsa. Again, that means that the Thrivetime Show Business Coaching Program is $39,993 less per year than the University of Tulsa. And that's why we've made our program exclusively available for just 2,500 people like you at a cost of just $19 per month, which comes out to a whopping $228 per year. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Thrive Nation, this is your opportunity to experience the world's best business coaching program for $20 a month. So why wouldn't you do it? Well, according to studies conducted by Nielsen, other people, not you, but the average American is watching TV 5.2 hours per day and consuming 2.3 hours per day of social media. And so they don't have time to invest $19 per month in a coaching program. Did you know that according to Forbes, 88% of the world's rich people spend 30 minutes per day reading and studying on how to improve their practical business skills? My friends, I'm a father of 5 kids. And I know that my kids get to enjoy the fruits of my financial freedom, not because I'm a genius, but because I know the proven systems. I took the ACT 3 times. I had to take algebra 3 times just to pass. I got kicked out of college. Trust me, if I can do it, you can too. My friend, you have nothing to lose, but you will lose by default if you do nothing. So are you going to act and take advantage of this exclusive offer before all 2,500 spots are taken? Or are you just going to become yet another sad example of the 90% of American businesses that fail and the 70% of Americans, according to Gallup, that hate their jobs? Reserve your spot and enroll in the world's best business school today at thrivetimeshow.com. It's just $19 a month. Reserve your spot and enroll in the world's best business school today at thrivetimeshow.com. My friend, it's just $19 per month, and there's only 2,500 spots available. Do not miss out on this exclusive opportunity.
I learned at the Academy in Kings Point, New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta. Again, this acta non verba. What it means is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it. It has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're interviewing a real entrepreneur that's having real success. Now, again, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it all the time, but Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he's been on our show. I've been on his show. He talks about how at the end of the day, it's about what you do, not what you say. You need to watch what people do, not what they say. And so if you're out there today and you're saying, my business is stuck, I don't know if I have what it takes to grow it, I hope you find a lot of encouragement from today's guest, because he is a very normal person. He's a diligent doer, and he's somebody who reached out, and we've been able to help him grow his business, and I'm super excited to have him on today's show. Sean, tell us who we're interviewing on today's show, sir.
So this is Cody Ellis, the owner of Tri-Peak Construction, based out of Reno, Nevada, who has been with us for about 1 year and grown his company by 107%. Using a whole bunch of things that we helped him implement that we can talk about today.
All right, Cody Ellis, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
So how did you originally hear about the Thrivetime Show or the business coaching, the business growth coaching that we provide?
A friend of mine with OSS, Organized Storage Solutions, recommended you. At the time, he kind of gave me the breakdown of what you guys did, and it was a lot of money at the time when we were talking about it. But me and my wife discussed it. She's my CFO, and we decided to give you guys a shot.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up so our listeners can see this, because I think this helps put a little bit of visual meat on the bone, so to speak here. When we work with clients to help them grow their business, we walk people through what is a 14-step linear workflow. And for clients, sometimes they might not think about it this way, but this is how I look at it. is it's almost like puzzle pieces that have to come together. And if we do it right, out comes a successful company. And so we charge people $1,700 a month to help out our clients. That's what we charge, $1,700 a month. And we operate at a 20% profit margin. So we make $340 a month per client. I'd like to ask you, with your business, can you tell the listeners out there, what exactly do you do and what's your website so people can prove you're not a hologram?
So my name's Thrivetime Construction and Design. I've been building a franchise called Rocket Fizz Soda Pop and Candy Shop since 2008. I didn't get my California contractor's license till 2015, when the franchise went on Undercover Boss. And ever since then, I've been mainly doing it. These franchise build outs all over the United States. 2020, work got slow, and pretty much I have been relying on other work to get me jobs, and I wasn't getting good jobs. I was just kind of scrambling. And, this year I kind of finally figured it out because you guys helped me organize my whole company. I felt like I was floating, like not going anywhere, struggling, angry. I feel like I have a good, strong foundation right now.
Well,
so
it's interesting.
That's where you guys helped me.
Well, it's interesting you said that. I appreciate you being so honest about it, because I know a lot of people, a lot of my wonderful clients, we have one client in particular I'm thinking of right now. He lost an incredible amount of weight over the last year. And I saw the guy and I said, man, you look great. And he goes, well, I have a business coach that helps me grow my business. So I figured I should probably have a fitness coach. And the fitness coach got him on a diet that made sense and a workout plan that made sense. And he really had tremendous transformation. And so if you're out there today and you feel stuck, don't feel stuck, but there's a linear path you have to go down. And if you go to TripeakConstruction.com, you can see the website, but there's a linear path you have to go down to grow your business. And we'll walk you through this, folks. If you're listening out there today, you can do it. So first off, you have to establish your revenue goals. Now, I'm not going to ask you on the show here what your revenue goals are, but do you in your mind have revenue goals at this point? I mean, do you have those kind of solidified in your mind there, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so, me and my wife, we do. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
We do a breakdown. We do a breakdown, like our goals this year. Like right now, mine's getting more employees. That's going to be my next step. I have my office. I do have a couple independent contractors, but finding good, solid employees that I can keep busy all the time is definitely going to be my goal this year.
And if we look at your website, I mean, you build you actually do remodeling and you do a good job. But let me pull this up so people can see this here. I mean, this is not, people pay you to actually go in there and to remodel and do construction, and you do a good job. I mean, at TripeakConstruction.com. Now, again, I'm not asking you on this show, but as I mentioned to our listeners, we operate at a 20% margin. So if I charge someone $1,700 a month to grow their business, I make a $340 a month profit. In your case, do you have in your mind what that profit percentage should be there, sir? I'm not trying to ask you I'm not trying to ask you like the specific number, but I mean, when you do jobs now, do you have a better understanding, you and Sean, as far as
yes,
profit you're making per job, I guess, is that?
Yeah, we've the job audit system, which is allowing us to make course corrections project to project when it comes to our profit. But I think your gross profit per job was somewhere around 30% this year. If that does that sound right?
Yeah, my local jobs, I average around 30% profit, and then the franchise jobs, I average about 60 to 70%.
And the reason why I mention this is so many people feel bad about being profitable. And I always tell people, we charge people $1,700 a month to grow their business, and we make a $340 a month profit. And people that come to our office, they meet our graphic designers, our photographers, our web developers, our online ad folks, our consultants, and they go, wow, there's 45 people that work here. Oh, that's where the money goes, because everybody who works here gets paid, and we do all of that for that monthly fee that we charge. Now, as far as box 3, determining the number of hours that you work per week, I know you and Sean have helped to design a schedule that's always changing. It's always in flux. With every client we have, they're always optimizing their schedule. We move on to box 4. Defining your unique value proposition. Did you and Sean work together to register your Google Map and optimize the website there? Cody, did you guys work on that together?
Yes. So my company was based out of my home, and I realized that Google doesn't, I'm a general contractor working out of my home, doesn't look very professional. And he coached me and pushed me to get an office, pretty much the first part of our coaching, and it's helped me tremendously.
Now, what happens is, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to give like 5 examples rapid fire so people can see this, okay? So we're going to do a search right now. We're going to type in carpet cleaning quotes. And this is a brand, full disclosure. I've worked with OxyFresh to help them grow their business. And anybody out there that buys an OxyFresh, I make $5,000 every time we sell one, okay? So we've sold over 500 OxyFresh franchises. And here's the secret sauce here. There's many things we do, but we have 274,000 Google reviews. We're the highest reviewed company on the planet right now. So if you type in carpet cleaning quotes, we come up top in the search results. If you go to Joplin Gyms, full disclosure, just so we're clear, each one of these gyms, I make about $300 a month per gym they have open, okay? So just to be clear, they've got 6 gyms now open. So I make about $300 per month per gym they have open. So there's, so you type in Joplin Gyms. Look, Koloff Fitness has 10,000 Google reviews. I mean, wow, okay. And am I biased to endorse them and promote them? Absolutely. Why? Because I get about $300 per gym they open. Let's look at this one. Let's type in Tulsa men's haircuts. And I'm just giving a lot of examples. And for all of these, you have to have a registered, verified Google map, and you have to have an optimized website. There we are, coming up top again. And we don't come up top in the search results because I'm a good guy. We come up top in the search results because we're following a good system. And I think that's one of the struggles that I've had in my life, is to see great people like you, Cody, who have a business that's not ranking. And I have a passion to help them get more leads, but yet the client sometimes doesn't want to do the things needed to succeed. I'm like, I need you to get a Google map and to have an optimized website. And the client, not you, but certain clients will say, yeah, but my sister made the website on Wix and she spent all weekend on it. And I officed out of my house and I don't want to register a Google map. And my cousin made the video and I don't want to change it because I don't want to offend him. And my husband made the online ads and my wife did this. And they're loyal to dysfunction. What would you say to anybody out there as far as how it's impacted your business, having an optimized website and optimized Google map?
My phone rings off the hook. I have a hard time keeping up with all the calls I get.
That is the move. Okay. So we move on. We're looking at this, we're looking at the system here. This is, again, someone says, well, what's the secret sauce? Well, this is like Sean having a menu, me sitting down with a skilled man or woman who's a cook. And I go, what's the secret ingredient that makes these cookies so great? Tell me now. And they go, well, you got to have all the ingredients. Yeah, but tell me the one. Tell me the one. Like, well, if you don't have eggs, you're screwed. You don't have flour, you're screwed. You don't have chocolate chips. There's no chocolate chips in the chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. And, oh, yeah, but tell me the what. That's how a lot of people want to do it. It's not one thing. It's a puzzle. It comes together. Okay. And what we do with business growth is it's like bumper bowling for business. We make sure you don't throw gutter balls. All right. So improving the branding, we talked about that, optimizing the website. If you're out there today and you feel overwhelmed, don't feel overwhelmed. We will help you. 3-legged marketing stool. Sean, you guys have worked to create a 3-legged marketing stool and a lead tracking system so that you actually track the leads.
Correct.
That come in. I want to get Cody's take and then your take on this, Sean. Cody, how has it helped you having a tracking sheet where you know that where the leads are coming in from?
That's huge. Sean has helped me. I mean, I was, like I said, I was floating around writing it on a piece of paper. I'll lose the paper. Now that I have an actual tracking sheet and I can see, where last month, where, or last year, it's 100% helped me.
I don't use the word life-changing lightly. I don't just throw out, oh, that's life-changing, but there are a few things in my life that are life-changing. I'll give you an example. When I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
That book changed my life.
Mhm.
Implementing the book changed my life. It really did. When I married my wife, the one thing about my wife that I've found that it's wonderful for me in my life is my wife is an incredible mom. I mean, just an awesome mom. Does a great job with the kids, and she's also very faithful, very loyal. And there's there's just certain benefits to being married. He who finds a great wife finds a great thing. I mean, it's a powerful, it's a biblical concept. But you could also have like a bad life change. You could also find the wrong woman. You could find the wrong business consultant. You could read the wrong book. And that's the danger of taking advice from people that don't know what they're doing. Now, we have at thrivetimeshow.com, if you go to the website now, as of today, almost 2,100 video testimonials from wonderful people. I got to ask you, even though your friend referred you, Cody, did you go to Thrivetime Show and look at some
Yes.
testimonials, or was that sort of your path a little bit before you decided to call us?
I actually bought your book, Start Here, with the Marlboro Red. So that's where I started with you. I'm not much of a podcaster myself, but I have been. Sean's been texting me links to watch and listen to. But
yeah,
that's your book is where
And just so you know, my mom will probably watch this, but the reason why I made the cigarette Marlboro cover was that I believe entrepreneurship is something that is dangerous and it's addictive, meaning that I know a lot of people that get addicted to the idea of entrepreneurship and they go from one failed idea to the next. And I know of other people that are addicted to it and they succeed in entrepreneurship. It's an addictive thing. It can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So again, I'm glad you read that book. Now we move on. The call script. You guys have worked on a call script. Sean, what happens when a client you're working with, when you give them mentorship, but they will not do tracking and they will not use a script? What happens?
Well, at first, it makes it very difficult for me to help them because we don't actually know what's going on in the business.
There it is.
That's the main thing that happens there.
And again, I just want people to see this again. If you go to my newest book, A Millionaire's Guide, again, it's called A Millionaire's Guide. You can download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. You can download it for free. It's A Millionaire's Guide. And the reason why I wrote this is because I don't know. I don't know of a lot of people that know what they're talking about. And so I felt like people needed a guide on how to become sustainably wealthy, not like a get-rich-quick scheme. And in that book, I talk a lot about this, and specifically on page 5, you got to have a call script, you got to have recorded calls, got to have a one sheet, got to have pre-written emails, got to have a lead tracker. You guys are doing that. Now, once you do a good job, you got to make sure you're tracking your expenses and your income. Now, from what I understand is that Cody's been super coachable on that, tracking the income and the expenses.
Yeah.
Cody, has that been helpful for you to be intentional about tracking income and expenses?
100%. We wouldn't know how much I was profiting without that. I mean, that was huge. Materials. I was losing a little bit of money on materials, and not charging enough. And I seem to go above and beyond with my customers as far as like little things. People try to take advantage, but you just got to do it, and then I'll just keep getting more referrals from them. So,
yeah. Now we many other things that we do together. I mean, we run the online ads. We help with the online, reputation management. You do a great job of gathering objective reviews from your happy customers. We manage the online ads. There's a lot of other things that we do with you each and every week. But I'd like to ask you this, kind of in closing, for anybody out there that is on the fence about coming to a workshop or becoming a one-on-one coaching client, we do offer a free 13-point assessment they can schedule at thrivetimeshow.com. But if you had to describe the coaching experience and what it's done for you in maybe a line or two, or final 60 seconds here, how would you describe what the business coaching has done for you and your business, sir?
I mean, I'm profitable. I wake up every day with, just a peace of mind that it's going to be a great day as long as I follow the steps and, just look at your agenda that you guys send me. And I kind of just follow that every day. And then I take down my notes. I'm old school. I don't sit in front of a computer much, but I like to write everything down, and I keep my folders with me. make my phone calls, and that's it.
And what would you say to anybody out there that's thinking about scheduling a 13-point assessment? What would you say to anybody out there that's a business owner that's thinking about scheduling a free consultation?
Why wouldn't you? You know, if you want to grow your company, it's a no-brainer, as you would say.
No brainer. Cody Ellis, thank you for carving out time for us. And anybody out there watching today, please be encouraged. I don't mean this as a backhanded compliment, but Cody's a very normal person. He's a hardworking guy. He's a trustworthy guy. He's a diligent guy. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But what I'm saying is, if you're out there today, you have the tenacity and the capacity needed to become successful. This could be your year, but you got to take the first step. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, schedule that free 13-point assessment again at thrivetimeshow.com. Cody, thank you so much, sir. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta. Again, this acta non verba. What it means is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour's up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it. It has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here. And there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Deeds, not words. So acta non verba, deeds, not words, or acts, not words. James, a lot of people, they come to our business workshops because they're listening to our podcast, our business podcast, and they say, man, I want to achieve massive success. And they see some of the testimonials and they go, if that guy could do it, I could do it. That's kind of where it starts.
I see it happen all the time, Clay.
Because your desk is about 2 inches from mine, I think.
Right.
And so people will say, oh, if that guy can do it, then I can do it.
That's correct.
So the 2 big principles I want to teach on today's show, just 2 principles. One is this idea of acta non verba, means acts, not words. The second concept I want to teach is that money is a magnifier.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money. Just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I've been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
The last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Which is more than, and he's an accountant. So we're going to talk about that. So Paul introduced me to Bob because he said there's a guy that came into my office looking to raise some capital. I think that was the thing. And he needed to get some sales going. That's how. And so if we tell Paul, from the accounting perspective, I'll pass the mic to you. You do accounting. Why do you have to have a website that makes sense and all that branding stuff? How has that impacted your brand, having websites and all those branding things in place?
Well, when I met you, like most CPAs, I thought my clients only come from referrals, but we get 500 leads in a 2-month period every month just off of Google. And so this is my face. We have 17 offices across 4 states. We have in every state, but this is our face. Like what you were saying, it's visual, and it also us to say why we're different. That about us from there is spectacular, and it just it's an industry that has changed. We're modifying it. We offer our services in a subscription model to where it's all inclusive, and it's just been awesome.
Will determine the level of success.
So success in business is not what you know how to do, it's actually doing it. And so the thing that I would tell you is stop it. Get a freak like this guy and let him go after it. Insane. Because then you can be doing what you do well and take that time and invest in something else on top of that as contacts. And I don't get anything for selling his, just telling you what he's done for us so that we could focus. And then he'll come in and I'll say, I think I've got it all. And he listens for 5 minutes and he makes one, and I want to slap myself in the face. Well, why didn't I think about that? That's idiotic. But they're sick freaks. They just get it done.
I don't know. I think it's because it's merit-based pay in their office. So if the people here, like, they get paid. So if we were taking on your account and someone else to do this, but if you hired a different marketing company, I'm just giving you best practices. You want to make sure that they win when you win. So like in our office, if we grow Dave Stacy's podcast, that benefits our company to the extent it benefits them, but we actually benefit if they benefit. Does that make sense to you?
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
So on today's show, I'm going to just hammer testimonials. So you can see people that heard about the conference through a podcast or through a friend or whatever, and they had a business that was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It wasn't thriving. It was just surviving, right? It was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It was just stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't thriving, it was surviving. And they heard about the podcast, they heard about the conference, they heard about the success stories, and they came to the conference. That's step one. They came to the conference. And by the way, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can name your price for all the workshops I do. We want to make it affordable for everybody. So they came out to the in-person 2-day workshop. They went to Thrivetime Show. They requested a ticket. We called them, got them their ticket. Then, James, we interviewed them after the conference, and we said, how was it?
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The goal setting, well, it's not like it's somewhat basic stuff. Making sure we have different goals for every part of your life is super important. Also, the linear workflow. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super. It's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. Like literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility, and basically create it just on our business side.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
And they said, oh my gosh, I learned so much about business. I learned about the workflows and the marketing and the search engine optimization and the branding and the hiring and the checklists and all this, the bookkeeping, the search engine optimization, the online advertising, the social media. I learned it all. Woo! Yes, I learned it. However, it's acts, not words. Acta non verba. So James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this stuff, but they don't apply it, what happens?
Nothing happens.
But there is a certain group of people, not our listeners, who run around acquiring information and they don't apply it.
Those are the worst types.
So this is what happens is Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author, he says that knowledge without application is meaningless. Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Knowledge without application is meaningless. So, James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this and they don't apply it, that doesn't matter, because the idea is acta non verba, acts not words. So if people come to this conference, you're going to see testimonies of people who came to the conference and they say, wow, I had no idea that this was possible. And then you're going to see people, I'm going to show you testimonials of people that applied what we taught them. People that have grown their accounting practice. Now, by the way, in accounting practice, this is not someone who has invented the concept of accounting. There's other accounting. This just in. There are other accountants.
My business, it consists, I'm a CPA and a financial advisor, and we're very successful. I wanted to go from successful to systematic. I wanted to learn systems and processes so that the business can run without me.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But this person, they came to the conference, they learned about how to scale their company. I taught them how to create a subscription model for their accounting as opposed to doing the traditional accounting model. And they've grown the company from $3 million to over $20 million. Wow. Then you're going to see a testimonial, a success story of a home builder who grew the home building business from 15 million to over 150 million, a home builder. And by the way, this just in, there are other home builders, but this home builder grew from 15 million to 150 million of sales.
That's life-changing, Clay.
You're going to hear about a dog trainer who came to this event. Now, let me tell you about the dog trainer. He came to this event, and he had a wonderful business that was it was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't able to grow. He was a great guy, knew how to train dogs, but he didn't have a no-brainer offer. He didn't have a website that was optimized. He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one-sheet.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one sheet, didn't have a pricing structure that worked, didn't have a linear workflow, didn't have an office culture environment, didn't have decoration in the office that would make people want to work there, didn't understand the process of hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining great people, didn't have a pro forma, didn't know how to franchise, didn't know how to license. But what we do, James, is we take people in, they come to the conference, they learn this stuff, and they go, could you teach me how to do it? And I say, absolutely. Now, folks, here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small. What? Here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small.
Favorite aspect is probably just how entertaining it is, and the fact that I pick up one or two or three things every time I come to take my business to the next level. Well, if people are missing out on basically a plan, a guaranteed plan, pretty much if you're willing to work it to be successful. Most people, I think everybody should attend one of these workshops at least once because you don't know what you don't know. And we're not taught to be successful in school.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
A lot of people, they have a fear or a phobia of scaling their business or building the processes. They feel like they don't know what to do, or they need kind of a coach or a mentor to guide them down the path. And so on today's show, you're going to see people that came to a conference, step one. Step two, we taught them how to apply these principles at the conference. Step three, they hired us to help them scale their company. Step four, you're going to hear their success stories. Now, James, money is a magnifier.
We have a little bit of news for you guys. It's now what, May 31st at
Right.
6:21. You've been closed for 20 minutes?
Right.
No, it's now June, so let's run the numbers for May. Let's see what he's got.
Totals 102,837.
What's last year to date? 102,837 this year?
And last year was 60,667. Whoa! Coming out of the weeds now.
Boom, baby.
Boom! Out of the weeds, onto the pavement.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
What does that mean? Because we're going to share with you some stories today of an accountant who grew a business from $3 million to $20+ million, of a home builder who grew a business from $15 million to $150 million, of a dog trainer that was able to scale his business from a stagnant business to 15+ locations, to grow the business that was perpetually stuck at 400,000-ish, grow that into a $1 million+ annual revenue.
This year's sales for this week.
So this is the same week last year. Do you see the difference? Look.
What is that? I can't really tell. One is,
Look.
Michael, can we just I just want to get it. Jason, can you kind of pull this end maybe? Just so you can see it. Let's kind of pull it that way. Let's get the length. That's more of a, I can't tell without the length. It's hard to tell.
Look at that. Okay.
So that's last year's sales.
This is last year's sales. And the total is a mere $4,711.73. Same week this year, 2015. The total is, read it, Michael.
$11,313.50.
Oh, boom! There it is.
What?
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits. how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months, and you have $350,000 of bills you got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kolaw. We'll see you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
When I say money's a magnifier, James, what does that mean?
It means if you're already a great person, the money will allow you to do greater things. And if you're not a great person, you're going to do things that are you're going to do more of the bad stuff.
Right. Because money's a magnifier. That's what it is.
Right.
So if you're a greedy, I don't want to say a greedy bastard, because that would then infer that you, just because you don't have a father in your life, that means you're greedy. I'm not going to say that. That doesn't make any sense. But if you're somebody who's greedy, the Bible states, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's for the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself. It's not. The money is just a tool, and people that are obsessed with money itself become a tool of the money.
Hi, my name is Josh Spurl from Spurl & Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants based out of Edmonton, Alberta. Canada. And I met Clay at his conference in Tulsa in June of 2018. Started working with the coaching program shortly after there. You know, the experience has been great. You know, you really have a partner in the grind. You know, most people, I like to say most people are wrong about most things about business most of the time. And it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to connect with other entrepreneurs who actually know what they're talking about when it comes to business. But Clay and his team really does understand. You know, the tangible improvements that we've seen is we're up over 50% since starting with the coaching program. And, they're helping to help business owners create time freedom and financial freedom. And I know what you're going to think. You're going to say, what the heck are you going to do with your time freedom and financial freedom when you're in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada? That's the most northerly city in North America with 1 million people. You know, we're probably just sitting in our igloos hoping for some television, but I'll give you an idea of what we're doing in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So over here we have Sandra and we have Emma. Emma, say hello.
Hi everybody, this is my daddy's channel.
Emma really likes any video. So let's see what actually the time freedom and financial freedom can do for you in Edmonton. So believe it or not, we have a beach here, guys. And I'll take you on the little tour of Edmonton's beach. Now it's not what you Americans are going to think of as a beach. This is a northern beach. Got a really cool slide here. I don't know if you can see this purple slide. This purple slide that you're looking at here does a full loop-to-loop. It knocks you completely upside down when you go to it. Let's see if I can get the right angle here. You know, that does not appear physically possible, but it really is going to knock you upside down. Went on it last time, and here is the Edmonton beach. This is a northern beach. You guys out in Tulsa, you Americans think you have all the beaches here, but here is the northern beach, complete with waves. We got 30-degree weather inside here. Oh, sorry, 30. That's 90 for you guys over there. I gotta do the translation, the math in my head. And we even got a zip line that we can ride down here. And this is what we're doing with our time freedom and financial freedom in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Thanks to the Thrivetime team. Thanks very much, guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But money's just a tool. Money's like a hammer, money's like a tire, money's like a sock, money's like a car. You could use a car for bad things, you could use a hammer for bad things. A lot of people could, you could kill someone with a hammer. You could kill somebody with a sock, I guess, if you wanted to. You could kill someone with a tire if you wanted to. But I mean, there's a lot of creative thoughts going through people's minds right now. But the thing is that money is just a magnifier. In the 1 Timothy chapter 6:10 reads, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows." And so what happens is that money is a magnifier. And so if you're somebody who's greedy and nefarious and will throw somebody under the bus to make an extra dollar, money's going to allow you to be more of a greedy personality type that will throw somebody under the bus for $1. That's what money will allow you to do.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah, so here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Now, if you're a grateful person, if you're a kind person, and James, that's why we only work with grateful, kind people. That's why when we share these testimonies of wonderful, great, kind people, it's a blasty blast. So James, that's what's fun about capturing these success stories, is that real people at the peak of their success are explaining to you how they did it. And luckily, James, we're able to actually gather footage of some of these people at the beginning, when they first came to a conference, and then at the peak when they achieved massive success. So James, I am fired up for people to watch this testimonial, but let's make sure I'm being a good teacher here. The two concepts I want to teach you. One, for anybody out there, it's called acta non verba, which in Latin means acts, not words. That's the idea, is acts, not words, okay? That's what it means. And then I want to teach the second concept, which again, money is a magnifier.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
James, in your own words, what does it mean? You say acta non verba, you go, I don't understand what you're saying. You say, well, it's Latin, it means, well, in your mind, what does it mean?
It means you can't just talk about it, you have to be about it.
That's how it works. And somebody says, well, Clay, I can't afford coaching with you guys. Well, good news, we only take on 160 clients, so, we might not be available. But we do have scholarship pricing. Now, this is how I make money. This is the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. One, I make the big obstacles seem small. And two, a lot of my clients, I get a small percentage of the growth. So, James, why would I be so motivated to help somebody who, is struggling and they're stagnant? Why would I want to invest the time for my own? I mean, if you take the altruism out of it, the fact that I grew up poor and I want to help people be successful, why would I want to help somebody to scale a company if I get 2%? We are joined by none other than my brother from another mother, Mr. Josh, the founder of Living Water Irrigation. Mr. Josh, welcome onto the show, my friend. How are you?
I am awesome, Clay. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm excited for the listeners to get to know more about you. Could you share the name of your company, a little bit more about what you guys do at Living Water Irrigation, where the name comes from?
Absolutely, positively. So Living Water Irrigation, the most important part of that to me is John 7:38. So it's mentioned in the gospel a number of times, where the living water. But our specific scripture that we drew our name from is John 7:38. It says, "Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow through him." We have a very distinct vision as a company on who we are and what we want to do. And I believe that I was put here to go make some money to give it away.
And I'm not going to ask you for the specific details of your career and how you started the business as far as a linear timeline, but how long has this particular business been around?
We've been around just 2 years, sir.
2 years. And you guys, we first met. How did we first meet?
I came in and y'all started coaching me over at the Thrivetime, over at Thrive 15.
And do you remember when that was approximately and how you first heard about us?
So it would have been October or November of 17.
October or November of 17.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of your growth as a company, how much have you grown this year?
So this year we're up 450% year over year.
So now that you're implementing this program, you're getting more calls, right? Are you getting more calls?
Absolutely.
Sales are going up. You're gathering reviews from your real customers, adding content to the website, adding a gallery of work.
So I'm going to actually take a minute and make you really uncomfortable, Clay.
Nice.
So when we started with y'all, it was awesome. We had a little company, just me and one dude and one little van.
Yeah.
And 17 was great. I ate more than ramen noodles, but not much more.
Right.
18 was really good. We started to implement the systems, got the boom book, went to a couple conferences, and said, okay, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to sell out. We went to the coaching, got coached by Marshall and Victoria, and started to implement, as opposed to just listen, to actually be doers. It's in James. It says don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers as well. And so we implemented scripts. We implemented systems. We implemented checklists. We implemented a pro forma for quoting and all these things that you talk about.
Yeah.
And so just as a real person, and I'm real, I promise you, there's a bunch of Josh Wilsons out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a famous baseball player and football player.
Oh, wow.
And a gospel singer.
Oh, wow.
But this Josh Wilson just digs ditches for a living. But I just want to say thank you. Standing here for all the systems. I encourage everybody out there, go pick up Start Here. Go pick up the Boom Book. The stuff you hear on this show, it actually sincerely works.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Why would I want to help somebody to scale a company if I get 2%?
Because when they grow, then you win too.
Right. It's a win-win. It's called shalom. Look it up, folks. The shalom, it's a biblical concept, the idea of a win-win. It's not a zero-sum negotiation, okay? If you're out there and you're a decent person, you have a soul, you want to create a shalom relationship, a win-win relationship with your partner. So I make more as my clients make more. That's how that works. It's a win-win kind of thing. So that's the idea. And again, James, people can go to thrivetimeshow.com. They can request a ticket. We let them name their price, and we do these conferences every 2 months. Every 2 months we do a business conference. And you've met these people, James.
I do, and you know what? I've met them when they came in and their business is struggling, and then I've seen how they've transformed after a few months. It's like getting a haircut. You know, when you go in and you look real dirty, and you come out and you look like the top of the world.
Money is a magnifier, and acta non verba, this idea that acts, not words, okay? It's all about action and gaining traction. It's not about just learning new concepts, because knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote the great Napoleon Hill. James, you're a beautiful man. You smell terrific. I can't wait for people to see you at our in-person workshops. Again, folks, get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. They're 2 days. They're interactive. We open up the doors at 7 a.m. We go until about 3 p.m. each day. We do a 30-minute teaching sprint, a 15-minute Q&A session, and then we break. And then we do 30 minutes of training, 15-minute Q&A, and then we break. And then 30 minutes of training, and then 50. So you're going to learn branding, marketing, search engine, all these things. And then, James, we have helicopter rides. We do the helicopter rides from time to time. We have, I think we're roasting a pig at this next. I'm not sure when you're going to hear this podcast, folks, but we're roasting a pig. We're giving away cash prizes. We're giving away. It is a blasty blast, folks. It's like the opposite of business college. It truly is business school without the BS. James, again, you're almost like a benefit we should add to the package. When people go to thrivetimeshow.com, it's like, and you get to meet James. So get those tickets again, folks, at thrivetimeshow.com. James, I really do appreciate you joining me today. And folks, again, get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com.
I'll just leave people with these words. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops, because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems, so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look him up. and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done this show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man. And there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you've become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.